Stories with Travis.
Oh, jeez, scared me there. Why in the world are you in a random person's house? Well, while I have you here, I don't really get to talk to people that much. I'm a very lonely person. So I will tell you a story. The story of the Texas Roadhouse cover-up. Yeah, just listen, okay? Please. So, back in 1978, a man by John Roadhouse made a restaurant in Houston, Texas called Texas Roadhouse. It was a nice little family restaurant. They had a cactus blossom, that was about it. But in the first year, it did not go so hot. 3 people would only show up, the same 3 people. They would get drunk and then leave and get in a car crash. So then the next day, 2 people. Next day, 1 person, and then no one. So John Roadhouse, he needed money to keep this business afloat. And he really thought it was going to go somewhere. So when people need money, where do they go? The devil. We all know this. So he makes a deal with the devil, goes to hell, because everyone knows that every Texas Roadhouse has a stairway to hell. And he talks to the devil, and the devil gives him a deal. The devil says that he will bring 2 of his biggest subjects to Texas Roadhouse to make it the greatest restaurant in the whole world. And before he could stop, John Roadhouse said, "We're good. Let's do this." Right? So the devil didn't even talk more because he knew that he wouldn't say yes. So out popped 2 monsters from the depths of hell, Iggy Iguana and Andy Armadillo, the 2 most evil subjects of Satan himself. Now, you already have seen them everywhere. If you go to any Texas Roadhouse, doesn't matter if it is in Texas, doesn't matter if it's in Timbuktu, doesn't matter if it's in New York City. If you've been to a Texas Roadhouse, you know Andy Armadillo and Iggy Iguana. Now, these 2 beasts roam every Texas Roadhouse. Now, sometimes they'll have a person inside, pretending to be them. One day, though, I wasn't as lucky. See, I went with my friend. We'll call him Neil. Now, Neil and me, we were having a nice romantic dinner. And all of a sudden, we heard screaming and yelling of a different kind, blood-curdling, if you will. And what I saw that night, I will never forget. See, after the screaming stopped, I saw a man being wheeled out, glued to a saddle. And everyone said, "Yeehaw," really loudly, like, "Yeehaw." They all said that. Everyone in the whole restaurant. Me and Neil looked, and we saw a bloodied man glued to a saddle, like I said. I didn't know where he was going at the time, but now that I know, it's frightening, to say the least. See, he was being fed to Andy Armadillo. Yes, that is true. Every single time it is someone's birthday, they will give them a saddle to ride on, and they will bring them to Andy Armadillo's lair, where Andy Armadillo will eat their limbs, but not their entire body, no, because the rest of their body turns into Iggy Iguana. Now, Iggy Iguana, every 5 years, is a new Iggy Iguana. If you see at any Texas Roadhouse, there are pictures of the last Iggy Iguana everywhere. We witnessed that night the next one being born. And it was tragic. It was disgusting, revolting. After I learned that, I didn't know what to do. When I got home, I put a gun in my mouth, realizing that the world is so much pain, but I survived. A bullet ricocheted off my throat because I have so many crowns. Ricocheted off all my crowns, went out and broke the window. So I survived by pure luck. That is why I stand here to tell you the tale. Now, the reason why they have iguana there is to feed, to give the devil his blood toll. Now, what he will do is, if you're the last one in the Texas Roadhouse, he will kill you, bring you down to his lair, which is under the bar, and he will rip you limb from limb and eat you head first. Now, he does have toxic venom, so they're really dead immediately. What he will do is the spit will go over their face, burn them, and then he'll grab his claws and slash their throat, killing them instantly. So at least they don't have to suffer. Now, here's just a couple things just to know if your Texas Roadhouse is safe or not. Because some Texas Roadhouses are safe. If you see the menus sat up behind the ketchup bottles and the pepper and salt, Iggy Iguana and Andy Armadillo live there. If you see pictures of Andy Armadillo and Iggy Iguana, they live there. If there is dead animals on the wall, they've lived there, and those are previous victims of the first Texas Roadhouse. So, moral of the story, don't go to Texas Roadhouse, or you will become one of the many Iggy Iguanas in the world. It's Q&A time. Q&A time is my favorite time of day. I'm gonna grab my phone here. See, here's my phone. I got some pulled up. Alrighty. Number 1 by Michael. Thank you, Michael, for writing me. Yes, I have, hello, sexy and beautiful. Thank you. I have a Texas Roadhouse in Massachusetts. It doesn't have any of the things that you said, but it does have a giant pentagram on the side of the bar next by the mirrors. Is this a warning sign, or should I not even care? Well, Michael, I would be okay with that. That's not too bad. I feel like that's just a thing in normal restaurants, especially like a Chili's. I feel like Chili's has a lot of those if you really look close enough. So, no, I think that Texas Roadhouse is safe. The next one is by Lucy. Why are you so sexy? And a lot of words I can't say on national television. But, see, it's a long story. Thank you, by the way. Very flattered. See, I come from a long line of ugly people, to the point where they're just disfigured and they can't really talk. They're all mute because their facial features are not even on their face. They're just in different areas on their body. I was born like that, right? But instead, I had an eye right here, in a normal area. And they were freaked out by that. They really were. So they threw me into the wilderness, and which they do with a lot of children in my family. And, a bear mauled me. A lot of animals mauled me, really, and disfigured me into a sexy god that you see today. So that is why I look so attractive. Alrighty, next one is from Vin. Thank you, Vin, for writing. Hello, this is Vin. I have a question, Travis. Well, this is why we do have this segment. When I was a kid, my parents bought me an Andy Armadillo plush for my room because I was a gigantic fan of Texas Roadhouse. Should I be worried? Yes, you should be very worried. Actually, you should burn down your house and burn the plush. Well, actually, don't burn down the plush because it will be fire resistant. What you should do is get a priest to perform an exorcism on that plush, and I think you should be good. Maybe. We'll see. Alrighty. Next question is from Michael from Detroit. He's the only one that said where he's from. Why is there a hole in your ceiling? Well, to be honest, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I think because I am telling this story that Andy Armadillo or Iggy Iguana has come to kill me. But I do know there's a lot of asbestos up there that is really ruining my lungs right now, and I am hallucinating very, very vividly. Alrighty, and final one from David. He says, I don't have a question, but I just want to say your show sucks. Well, thank you, David. I really appreciate that. And that's all the time we have for Q&A. Well, I know you're just a random stranger in my house that I just happened to come across, and you just have to listen to all my stories because I forced you here. Well, I forced you to stay here, and I locked all the doors. But I'm glad you listened. I'm glad you didn't scream the entire time like I thought you would. Now, we'll do this again sometime when you're drinking and having fun with your friends. You'll feel a little tired, and you'll be like, I guess it's time for another story. But until then, this has been Stories with Travis. I'll see y'all again.